Guten Tag. Ich möchte euch auf unser Webinar begrüßen und willkommen. Unser Webinar hat ein Thema Novicom ADDNET für Dachregion. Ich möchte nur kurz eine theoretische Teil erst haben, wer wir sind, also unsere Firma Novicom, und dann unsere Tools. Also vorstellen, aber vor allem möchte ich über ADDNET sprechen. Was ist integriertes DDI und NAC-Tool? Das werden wir dann mehr beschreiben. Und der zweite Teil von dieses Webinar ist also technisches Teil. Mein Kollege Peter Todorov wird dieses technische Part Ihnen vorstellen. Also ich verspreche, die theoretische Part oder der theoretische Part-Teil wird nur kurz. Also kurz zu Novicom. Ist ein tschechischer Lösungshersteller für effektives Management und Überwachung und Sicherheitsnetzwerk. Wir orientieren uns auf mittlere und große Unternehmen und wir orientieren uns natürlich auch auf Kunden, die ein hohes Maß an Sicherheit fordern. Und der zweite Teil ist, oder zweitens, die zuverlässige Betrieb eines Netzwerks fordern oder brauchen. Wir sind schon 27 Jahre auf dem tschechischen Markt. Und in den letzten Jahren sind wir auch im Ausland, zum Beispiel Polen. Jetzt starten wir den Dachregion. Ja, wir sind in Dachregion mit dem Distributor Ektacom tätig. Wir machen kein Direct Sales. Das bedeutet, wir verkaufen durch Partner, also einen Partner-Channel, möchten wir mit der Distributor Ektacom jetzt anbauen. Wir haben also ein breites Spektrum im Sicherheitsbetriebsbereich. Also unsere Vision von Novicom im Cybersecurity-Bereich. Also kurz nur, was wir alle schon wissen. Also Cybersecurity ist ein globales Problem. Wir können sehen in der letzten Zeit höhere Anzahl an Ungewissheit oder von Cybersicherheitsvorfällen. Die bekanntesten sind zum Beispiel Yahoo, LinkedIn, Facebook, Adobe und so weiter. Und natürlich, die Schäden sind riesig groß. Wir können sagen, in dreistelliger Milliardenhöhe in Euros natürlich. Und wir können auch beantworten die Frage, warum passiert es? Also wir können sagen, dass durch Unterschätzung, durch das Management von Unternehmen und Organisationen, ja, die Gewichtigkeit dieses Problems wird von Unternehmen und Organisationen also nicht verstanden. Das ist eine Sache. Und zweite Sache ist, hier ist keine Bereitschaft dafür, angemessene Ressourcen bereitzustellen. Ressourcen, denke ich, also finanzielle und menschliche Ressourcen. Die Cybersicherheit direkt an die IT-Abteilungen anvertraut. Und hier ist ein Zusammenstoß, weil die IT ist auf die Sicherheitsstellung des Betriebs fokussiert und wird dafür evaluiert, nicht für die Cybersecurity. Ja, und die Cybersicherheit entzieht der IT Personal und Finanzen, um ihr Hauptziel zu erreichen. Also hier können wir sehen, der Zusammenstoß. Wir können sehen auf dem nächsten Slide, die Cybersicherheit ist eine sehr komplexe und anspruchsvolle Disziplin. Hier können Sie sehen, wie kann man die Inhouse-Sicherheit in Organisationen gewährleisten. Manche Dienste oder Tätigkeiten können die Firmen oder Organisationen sich selbst beobachten oder entstehen. Aber manche sind nicht in der Kräfte von Organisationen und Firmen also erreichbar. Ja, das ist eine Sache. Und zweite Sache ist, dass die Leute, die Angestellte sind nur von Montag bis Freitag Angestellte. Die können nicht also die Reaktion 24/7 also anbieten. Also von diesen können wir sagen, dass bei eines Teams mit dem Wissen, sich in Echtzeit gegen Hacker zu behaupten, ist für über 90% der Unternehmen also wirtschaftlich unrealistisch, was 100%ig stimmt. Natürlich sehen wir die Schwierigkeiten und Probleme. Und wie kann man diese Probleme lesen? So die Lesung finden wir in der Teilung von spezialisierten Quellen zur Cybersicherheit mit Spezialisten. Also das heißt also den SOC, also Security Operation Center. Die Sicherheitsüberwachung wird von vielen angeboten, aber jetzt können wir uns fragen, also welche Sicherheitsüberwachung ist das Richtige? Und die Antwort ist also nur SOC, der voll und ganz vorbereitet ist, die Verantwortung für die Bekämpfung der Hacker zu übernehmen und hat die Fähigkeit, jederzeit Abwehrreaktionen auszuführen, ohne mit Administratoren des Kunden zusammenzuarbeiten. Hier können wir gehen zu unserer Vision von aktiven SOC. Ja, also aktives SOC kann die Sicherheit, wie ich schon in den letzten Slide beschreibe, kann die Sicherheit 24/7 anbieten und proaktive Reaktion auf Vorfälle nur dann bieten, wenn ein Kunde Tools mit diesem Einblick in dem Netzwerk und eine Verwaltung teilt. Also, und hier können wir sehen, also unsere Vision, also Novicom-Vision, ist die ausgefeilte Technologien und Know-how bereitzustellen, die es Kunden erleichtern, sich mit einem aktiven SOC zu verbinden. Auf dem nächsten Slide können Sie sehen oder können sehen unsere Referenzen, wo wir mit unseren Tools schon sind. Natürlich, manche sind in Tschechien, also zum Beispiel Finanzministerium oder Innenministerium, Ministerium of Kultur, ja, oder Kulturministerium, die Polizei, aber auch Firmen wie zum Beispiel Icon Transport, ArcelorMittal und so weiter. Jetzt gehen wir zu den Tools. Was ist der Hauptteil von diesem Webinar? Der Tool heißt ADDNET und das ist ein Betriebs- und Sicherheitstool, das vollständige Netzwerktransparenz, hocheffiziente IP-Adressraumverwaltung und erweiterte Netzzugangskontrolle bietet. Also wir können kurz sagen, dass es ein integriertes DI- und NAC-Tool ist. Also NAC können Sie verstehen, also Network Access Control, und die DI entzieht also DHCP, DNS und IPAM, also IP-Adressmanagement. Nur für in den letzten Tagen habe ich ein Angebot einer Kunde in Deutschland gemacht habe. Und das Angebot für beide Eigenschaften, also DDI und NAC, das Angebot war günstiger als andere Konkurrenz, der nur NAC-Tool also bietet. Also hier können Sie sehen, dass dieses Tool ist auch preislich günstig. Ich möchte euch auch zwei andere Tools von Novicom vorstellen, aber nur mit einem Satz. Vielleicht in den nächsten Monaten werden wir auch Webinar auf die anderen Tools machen. Oder Sie können uns auch kontaktieren, wenn Sie Kunden für diese Tools sehen. Wenn wir sehr froh, wenn wir einen Online-Meeting oder auch Inside-Meeting machen können und über die Zusammenarbeit also sprechen. Also jetzt kurz zu Elisa. Elisa ist also Log-Management CM-Tool, also ist eine robuste und leistungsstarke und dennoch sehr kostengünstige Lösung für das Sammeln, Korrelieren und Analysieren von Logs. Also kurz können wir sagen, das ist ein Tool zum Analysieren von Logs. Und letzte Tool, was wir in dem Portfolio haben, ist BVS, also Business Visibility Suite. Es ist ein Tool zur klaren Visualisierung von Netzwerkkommunikation sowie zur Gestattung von Geschäftsdienstleistungen und IT-Infrastrukturen. Ja, bevor wir zu der technischen Part oder Teil von der Präsentation gehen, möchte ich euch bitten, Sie können jederzeit in den Questionnaire und Answer in diesem Webinar also die Fragen stellen und am Ende von der technischen Präsentation werden wir die Fragen also beantworten. Ja? Hier können Sie direkt E-Mail an mich sehen und auch Handynummer. So können Sie mich jederzeit erreichen und ich wäre froh, wenn wir uns zusammen mit dem Business besprechen können. Also jetzt möchte ich das Wort meinem Kollege geben. Der Kollege heißt Peter Todorov. Leider er spricht kein Deutsch. Also dieses zweite Teil von technischer Präsentation von dem ADDNET wird in englischer Sprache, aber ich bin sicher, dass es alle verstehen und dass es keine Schade wird.
Thank you, Andre. Hello from my side. Welcome to our meeting today. Just short to present myself. Unfortunately, I am not able to speak in German. Hope to my English to be understandable for you. I'm in position of pre-sale support on Novicom, and today my task is to present and to close to you our flagship or milestone, the ADDNET. Some of us could spelling ADDNET, some of us ADDNET. The reason is quite simple. The name of this product is for just 2 words, add networks, meaning we use the beginning letter of the 2 words, and that we give the name of this product ADDNET. The ADDNET is very interesting and very powerful tool and contain, as Andre already mentioned, the 2 important modules on functionality, DDI and network access control, which really cover the base level of the ISO/IEC standard in the network, meaning we able to manage and to have in one place, on one common dashboard, the DDI, the DHCP, DNS, IP access management on one side. As another upper level, we're able to implement the network access control based on the DON1X protocol and to increase the security of the customer networks. So this is shortly what is the ADDNET. As I mentioned, it is very unique product. Is combining 2 very important functionality in one common dashboard. I will try to present after slides. I hope you have enough time to jump into the live demo and just to guide and to show you the highlight of functionality of ADDNET. Why you should talk about the ADDNET and what you should start with DDI. As a base functionality, the network to be under control and to well managed, we need to have a very trustable and secure DHCP server, and of course also try to collect the information for the network through the props, and all this information are need to create a trustable database of the device and the IP address is generated by the DHCP server. The second important level is the domain name server, which translate the name of the device to the or IP device translate to the name of the device, and all together. After that, we try to synchronize it to cooperate with the Active Directory of Microsoft, and after this, we're able to implement the network access control. The product is, as I mentioned, combined two modules. The DDI is the base, meaning we implement the props in the network, we collect and sniffing the data flow. All this information are transferred to the managed software, which generated a huge database of the device and the MAC address. And based on it, we're able to recognize together with the end customer, which is the trustable device, which the device belongs to the customer networks. And after the transfer of this database to the trustable database, when this database is transferred to the trustable, we are able to protect the network from unexpected, uninvited user which try to connect his device on this network, because all device now is monitored. They didn't monitoring and sniffing real time on any 2-3 minutes, providing active scanning and sniffing and keeping up to date the database of the trustable device. And that's why have no chance from unexpected visitors which tried just to provide some provocation or potential hacker attack, and not allowed to connect the network. This is quite important. It is the base model of ADDNET, which means the DDI module. So a very simply operator security tool already today really to fulfill the needs of advanced security module. With ADDNET module, we're able to offer to completely simplify the IP administration, meaning we collect all functionality in common dashboard. That means we reducing the needs of the IP administration persons. We reduce the amount and the payment of this department, because ADDNET as a unique tool manage and able to keep up well conditioned the networks of the customer. Flexible support, of course, of distributed module of the networks. We provide from DDI to NAC. We provide ADDNET provide layer 2 monitoring. We provide sniffing using the protocol with NetFlow and IPFix. We collect the syslogs, and all this information together we used to create a trustable database of the network, able to be easy to manage, easy to monitor it. Let's go drill down and try to discover what is in ADDNET built in, which kind of the modules. Of course, I already mentioned it, activity L2 monitoring, which is real-time, full history of physical locality, combining with the DDI model, which meaning IP access management, very effective, very useful, a very powerful tool. DHCP server and DNS server. Another side, we have a network access control. We're based on the .1x protocol and MAC authentication, authorization, and crisis management. And the first part of the product is a switching interoperability, meaning we're able to collect the configuration of the switches, we're storing the configuration of the switches, and of course, we're able to configure the switches. Do not to forget the ADDNET is the multi-vendor product, because the Novicom is the software vendor. We are support all of the wide world vendors like Cisco, like HP, like Huawei, Juniper. So that's why we really bring a very unique product, which is it's easy to configure and to manage such a kind of mix of worldwide producer. So let's take a look about L2 monitoring. Again, real-time monitoring. Judah implemented props in the networks. These props sniffing the data, reading the IP tables from the switches, and all this information is delivered to the managed server. Based on this information, we're able to discover, able to bring information, how many devices are in the network at that moment, which of the device be connected and which physical ports on which name of the switches, how long this device being connected on this port, etc., etc. Very, very useful information for IT administrator to have a glance and have bring view the real situation of the network, where the devices are connected or disconnected. Very simple information, as you mentioned it. We provide information about the device accuracy in the network, which is the meaning we discover the IP address and the MAC addresses, where is the network are located. Very useful, for example, with a very large network, for example, head office and several branches. In the ADDNET were very effective, because as much devices as lower time for the IT administrator to take time and to keep up to date the Excel sheet with the new devices, old devices, MAC addresses, IP addresses. All these duties are done by the ADDNET. So ADDNET really bring an easy life for IT administrator, because this tool collecting, generating, and monitoring the device and the network in real time. And of course, on the very useful dashboard, the IT administrator, operator of ADDNET, is easy to monitor and to discover the trouble in the networks. As mentioned, real-time networking. Of course, additional information on those features, periodically sniffing every 5-7 minutes, full history of device accuracy on the network, as mentioned it. Support of the cable book. Cable book is another part of the ADDNET, is very useful. For example, if the customer keeping up to date the cabling, meaning starting from the server up to the data box, a connector box on the wall on the H offices, be able to implement this drawing in the ADDNET, and after that, through the using the cable book, it is easy to discover in which building, which office, which flow, which department this device momentarily occurs, and able to discover if unexpected person tried to connect to the potential networks, or if somebody tried to provide some fake MAC address, etc., etc. So this scenario probably I'll try to explain you later when I will go into our live demo, just to have glance and to have to be informed how the ADDNET is effective. So the second additional module is DDI. So I already explained what meaning DDI. Shortly, address planning is very important, where you have a huge and large networks, and you need to provide some address planning, to be able to create a net, subnets, to create a scope for special device, to split the device and different IP addresses, to create, let's say, the full pool from a quarantine or for the host. All this needs been done by IP address planning. That's why it's very effective, important to have such a kind of tool which give you a chance to really put your IP address in the tight and have a good planning and good view. DHC parameter, we compare it and working with DHC parameter, meaning MAC addressings, role type, statistic or variable, automatic assignment of DHC option according to the network IP address and IP devices. The DNS parameter, already you know what is the DNS, meaning DNS give the name of the device, translated IP address to the name of the device. And of course, NAC parameters enable, disable, generate, assign the VLAN to the users to the device. Networks as control, the additional module, very important. Well, when implemented, we starting implementation of ADDNET, we starting with DDI model, meaning we sniffing the network of the customer, transfer the unknown database of MAC address and IP address to the trustable one, and we able to, on this level, to protect the network based on MAC address. Of course, after this, many of the customer needing additional functionality which give him a better security, meaning we be able to offer the network access control functionality, which is implemented in ADDNET. So network access control is a part of the ADDNET. Of course, isn't based on the X protocol MAC authentication, create some, of course, also crisis management. Shortly, what is the network access control? Why we need to have this? I think all of us already understood the importance of the network control, why we use that network access control. We use the authentication of device, authentication of the user, and of course, we try to protect against the hacker attacks. And the last part of the ADDNET is the switching portability, because we manage the switches on the networks. We keep creating the database of all the switches. We reading the IP table from the switches, and of course, we're able to configure and to keep configuration of these switches and to store the configuration on secure store. What next? Just have a slideshow, bring view how the IP access management look like. As already informed you, when you implement the IP access module management, then we have all IP address in the type with the right and easy to be managed. And additional additional information just to inform you how we able to deployment of the DI module. We provide a centralized, distributed implementation. We're able to implement our own DHCP server. We contain some advantage functionality and our own DNS server. If the customer have not so trustable DHCP and DNS server, we're able to offer our own DNS server, which is implemented is a part of DDI module of ADDNET. Network access control, again, is against the hacker attack, provide more secure on that Twinings protocol, able to discover and to identify the user in the radio server, in the MAC authentication, and after if all this level the customer and the device pass it through, then the network access control grant him access to the network. If they not be part of the trustable database in the radio server, of course, user not able to log in on the customer networks. And quite important, we also provide so-called micro-segmentation, some advantage of the network access control. What is meaning micro-segmentation? With this, we're using so-called dynamic or static access command list. We are able to implement on the access level, what meaning we able to modify and to tie the data communication for each user belong to some potential VLAN, and due to the access command list, we're able to limit the data flow just from the concrete allowed IP address and IP ports, or the rest of the IP address in the port are forbidden and or denied. That's why if the customer or the user try to connect to the network, connecting to the networks, all functionality allow him access to the networks as a trustable user, trustable device. But if the, let's say, user is have potential infected by the ransomware, in this situation, we try to minimize the risk if this device will infect the rest of the network, because through the access command list, this user are not allowed to communicate with the rest of his colleague in the networks, with the rest of the device of these virtual networks, or the user will be allowed to communicate through dedicated IP addresses and IP address and IP ports. That is the advantage of the access command list. If we're able to provide statical or dynamic, so dynamic access command list is very nice functionality, a very effective one. It is also part of our Advantage product, ADDNET. So let's shortly just to inform you on the diagram or the design, how we implemented our solution. We have a head office. We implement and install the software image on the main office. Of course, the blue black box is the so-called props or local server. We provided N+1 redundancy, meaning we try to connect all of the devices each other, so to realize a full mesh connectivity in situation when some of the connectivity or connection will be broken or will be fell down with some location. The branch office which is near try to overtake and to keep the connectivity, to keep the functionality of this locality, because you see that the main server transferred the DNS management to the local branches. This work server also is not just a probes. In this server, we also install local DNS radio server. As I mentioned, in situation where the connectivity is broken, this server is a standby mode, immediately rising up and active mode and try to generate the DHCP server DNS records and radius functionality, and to keep this local branches still in the functionality. So shortly, with our product, we try to keep the customer networks in functionality mode, and we try to avoid any potential risk that one of the branches will be out of the functionality. This is also just to show you how we implement and how we approach where we try to implement ADDNET and how we planning to install. So any installation is quite unique. Any installation is dependent on the customer, the size of the network, the number of the branch offices, and the number of the IP devices. Please be informed that our device, our solution, able to manage and to solve the IP addresses 15,000 plus 50,000 plus. So we have no limit about the number of the device and IP addresses. That's why the ADDNET is very, very effective. It's a very large network where the ID administrator have enough time because of thousands and thousands devices to be put on the Excel table to keep up the data Excel sheet with the devices, MAC addresses, IP addresses. Advantage of the ADDNET, of course, active light to monitoring, visualization of the physical location and the complete history of the net operation, saves and significant amount of the network administration workload, meaning we keeping and reducing the workflow of the administrator, because ADDNET really bring some benefits and reducing the time and reducing the needs of administration persons. Of course, contain part existing DDI module, which really provide a layer to monitoring, sniffing the data, sniffing the devices, collecting the information from the devices, collecting the MAC address and IP addresses, combining with IP access management, DNS, advanced network policies, etc., etc. Because we will have not enough time, I just jump a few slides and going to the, let's say, the one of my favorite slide. When we talk about the DDI, of course, we know the Microsoft, which really offer IP access management, DNS as well. We also know that some of the companies are focused on L2 monitoring and heterogeneous networks like BlueCat, like Efficient IP or Infoblox. And all this functionality we able, let's say, to put on the label DDI. Another side, we have some companies or vendors, we are focused to so-called network access control, like Cisco, like Extreme, like Ivanti or Aruba. But just ADDNET contains all both modules as one in one place, in one common dashboard. This ADDNET contains the DDI functionality and network access control functionality. And now let's try to jump to a live demo. That is the dashboard. That's a benefit of the ADDNET, where bring you all this information very briefly and shortly, and one first glance, and to able to discover and to monitoring the situation in your networks. Of course, the dashboard and the small windows are able to be managed for any users, depend of their needs. If, of course, this information is not enough, some of the windows should be managed or they put it out. It's again just based on the operator needs, which kind of information need to be collected and to be seen in the first view. Just to inform you, this is not real network. This is a demo, meaning it's the synthetic communication with 4,000 IP addresses, just to show you and present you the advantages, functionality, and effectivity of the ADDNET as a product. So in the left side, you can see how many of the networks are used, potential in percentage, how of them are mostly not used. And against to this window, we have additional window which shows us top 11 switches, which used by usages is very close to the 100%. Be able to see additional information like top 15 nets by discovered in these 7 days. So they didn't discover, let's say, 15 network nets in these last 7 days, or top 15 nets by a request in the last 7 days, meaning some of the devices are requested. Also, what is very important, we have called window where we're able to manually type we need to discover some concrete IP address or concrete MAC address. It's very easy to be used. But also what is nice is a window which shows us or show to the operator how many ports are free, meaning never been used, and it's easy to be connected. And let's say, just imagine that the company planning to increase the devices because the personnel should increase with additional new colleagues, or should open additional new branches, and the IT manager have a heavy head and thinking how to solve this problem. ADDNET immediately give him information because of the IP table, which reading and collecting information with all of the switches. You see the name of the switches, we see how many of the ports never be used, so it's easy to count, probably about 200 free ports, so the IT manager is happy and will not need to spend additional budget to need to reduce the amount and not need to purchase additional switches. So this also is a very good, useful information. By the way, the ADDNET also contains so-called alert centrum, meaning any new unexpected issues appears immediately here. For example, somebody tried to delete it, or somebody delete, or somebody tried to connect. ADDNET, as you inform you in the beginning, when the transfer the database of trustable networks, any new device we try to be connected, I immediately I'll put on the let's say host subnet, and waiting there until the operator get decision what to do with this device. If this device belongs to the new colleagues, or some unexpected visitor try to provide some potential risk and try to infect the network with provide some hacker attacks. Of course, we have many of the detailed menu, meaning contain the topology of the switches, the principal options, Microsoft Active Directories, and many parameters need to be set up, need to be provided, and that the ADDNET works smoothly and correctly. For example, address planning, let's turn back about the DDI module, that for topology, very important one. And you can see when you're planning to implement this device, you should able to create to specify the subnet. For example, it's here very well done and inform you from which IP scope this net is generated and created, and in this scope you have some additional subnets specified by the device for, let's say, private PCs or the printers or the management. So it's very nice when all these IP addresses well done, managed and structured. And that's why they didn't give you a chance to provide this. And after that, you have an easy life, easy to manage, because you're very easy to orient it and to discover this IP address belong to which of the subnets, and any potential risk or issue will be really easy to be discovered and to be solved. So it's a shortly word about the address planning. IP addresses I already show you in the presentation. Here, as you can see, this is the result. We have we also have the DHCP event, the DHCP client, protocol about DDI, DHCP leases, what happens, how many new DHCP have been generated, use radius server should be set up, etc. I'd like to present you from today's so-called Alert Centrum. Alert Centrum is very interesting because on the Alert Centrum we have a new potential risk and issues will be generated day by day. When we create the alerts, we create some input modules and output modules, of course. In input modules, we specified some parameter will really provide, let's say, artificial intelligence to the ADDNET. Based on this specification, ADDNET immediately able to discover if the device moving, meaning, just example, just imagine that we have a very heavy devices dedicated in specific offices. And with some reason, this MAC address of this device unexpected start moving. Meaning with somebody try to fake the MAC address of this device and to use this device, for example, the printer, try to provide risk attack, hacker attack. Additional parameter, digital fingerprint, a very important parameter when you use the communication of the device. Be able to reading this information is very important, able to dedicate if somebody try to fake the fingerprint, meaning try to fake the information in the communication between the device and the server. Duplicated MAC address, additional parameters. Altogether at this moment we have 16, but of course we are still developing our product, and very soon we will add additional very interesting parameters just to protect, increase the protection and the functionality of the device. So what is next in Alert Centrum? Of course, on the input module we have output module. Please be informed that the ADDNET able to communicate with additional software products, for example, trustable CM product, and we use the so-called leaf format. And because the ADDNET have some limitation of in storing the data no longer than months, some of the risk events and the issues need to be stored longer. That's why ADDNET able to, through the REST API interface, transfer or communicate of CM and to transfer the this event to be stored for the long period in CM or trustable CM. Of course, ADDNET able to send a mailing for the security manager or the security department and additional parameters. And let's go, for example, event logs. Just to be able to create a filter, able to specify which severity are interested for us, high or crucial. We're able to select for the choice of the type, and we also able to select crucial, add filter. Let's say we discover something. Modified, okay, data. Or let's say from the beginning of the month. So that is a issue or event generated our synthetic networks, just to inform you and to show you how ADDNET discovered the events. And when you have the list of the events, we're able to filtering by the selecting the crucial one. And here it is. IPAM violation, meaning some reason duplicated IP addresses I didn't immediately discover because of predefined parameters, as I show you, as the input modules. And now we're able to dedicate and discover the IP address and the MAC address of the device. And if you're going to try to discover more, we're just clicking on the right button of the concrete MAC address and click on the info about. And ADDNET should give you whole information regarding these devices. So now we have to see the whole history of this device, the IP addresses, the status, the which Ethernet interface, physical port of the switches are connected. And now it's part to show you, the time to show the cable book. The cable book is very easy implement, it's very useful because when I click it on it, operator immediately discovered the information, the MAC code from the switch name, the switch IP address, the management of the switches, on which physical port of these switches these devices are connected, where the device is located, and when I click show, now I can see really on this diagram, on this drawing diagram, that this device is located boardroom 3. For example, this room of my colleagues, which is on vacation now, and I immediately discovered that somebody tried to provide something not so correct. That's why I can immediately call to the police department or some security guard to check who is this office and what they're going to do, and just to kick out, or to know the information that something going there and need to take care. So this is the effectivity of the cable book. It's easy to locate and to dedicate where the device is at this moment, which is really provides something unfair. And now additional information again, the history of the device will be connected, the number of the ports, etc., etc., etc. So all this information very, very useful. Unfortunately, our time is close to be finished. That's why I need, unfortunately, to stop my live demo presentation. Just to give you time, if you have additional question or be interested, you have need more information regarding our ADDNET, or be interested to have a real 1 hour or additional live presentation of live demo, just let us know. We will be happy. Also, if some of you will be interested, be able to generate an access account to our live demo and grant him access to have a chance to connect to the live demo and try to passing through different functionality modules and buttons and to drill down and really to discover the highlight and the effectivities of ADDNET. Andrei, I will bring to you.
Bitte, thank you. Ihr habt jetzt also die technische Präsentation und Live-Demo von ADDNET gesehen. Möchte ich Sie bedanken für Ihre Time und ich hoffe, dass ihr das Webinar also genießt und dass ihr neue Informationen oder interessante Informationen von diesem ADDNET-Tool habt. Also nochmal, ich bedanke mich für Ihre Zeit und ich freue mich vielleicht für das nächste Webinar. Also schönen Tag noch und tschüss.